Right. I think that's it. Yep. And we're live. Hey, Anthony. Um,
Rock and roll. Hey, what's up, bro?
good. How are you? So it looks like it
Good.
might just be me and Anthony today. Maybe Mark might join at some point, but he is currently flying somewhere. Yeah. With his plane, so that's cool. I'm in the middle of the ocean here on the ship, and yeah, we're gonna talk about hover. I didn't think I'd go live, but Anthony wanted to, and so we're here. I think the main
We got
reason was
to.
because we have the yesterday Hover posted, what was it, the flight path video, episode 9.
Yeah, it's dope.
So that's what we want to talk about. All right, I got my shoes off and I'm ready. I'm out here actually in the highest deck. I think this is like 20. It's like a really nice little garden area. Keep quiet, away from all the
Yeah.
craziness. And also there's music all over the ship, so probably can't be screaming
What is
background
it?
music.
Carnival Cruise? Carnival Cruise or somebody else?
Nah, bro, what? Probably.
Nah, man. I thought they'd be twerking. They'd be twerking on the Carnival Cruises, man. Carnival Cruises be hot, man. Shit, if you're gonna go on a cruise, you want to go Carnival Cruise, baby.
That's why you go for the twerking? Nah,
Yeah,
man, for
yeah,
the food, the alcohol, and all,
yeah.
all the
Hey,
other
check us out.
stuff.
Hey, check us out. The Horizon team. They sent me this cool hat, man. You know what I'm saying? Got
That's
the
right.
T-shirt.
That's right.
Got the
That's
Cabaret X7 T-shirt. You know what I mean?
oh,
Got it's like,
wait, show
yeah,
that.
yeah,
I've never seen
yeah,
that. I only have one
yeah.
T-shirt.
You got
Oh,
the
nice.
Cabaret. That's dope, man. Got
How's the
the
back of that look?
bam. Is it plain? Is it plain? You know?
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
Very
it
cool.
says on
Very
the
cool.
sleeve. It's on the sleeve. The Cav X7. Where is that?
Yeah. So on the one sleeve it says Cabaret X7, and then on the other sleeve it says Horizon Aircraft.
Oh, cool.
You know? Yeah.
I wonder why they chose that yellow. I've never seen that yellow color.
It's
Very
hot.
cool.
It pops.
Yeah, but no, I've seen them use the red one. That you have on the keychain thing you mentioned. But
Yeah.
yeah, I wonder what that color's from. Anyways,
Yeah, I
very
want to
cool. You
rock the
got the
stuff. It's
merch.
like going. Yeah, it's like going to the Metallica concert and you're rocking the Metallica T-shirt. You know what I mean?
I wish I had the hat to wear right now, but the shirt unfortunately is an extra large, so does not fit me. And maybe I'll wear it on the stream or two, but it's definitely very big on me.
Yeah, you know what they say? The camera adds 10 pounds. They thought you was big body. They was like, oh, this Matan's a big dude right here. He needs an XL.
no, not at all. More like an excess.
Ah,
um. Anyways, smoking game is in the house. What's up, bud?
oh,
Um.
cool.
So, what did we want to talk about? What's on the agenda today?
Want to watch that video? Let's pop that video on real quick where Brandon's dad's dropping mic drops, and then we got what's that one guy's name? I think his name's Josh. He's like, oh yeah, we going big.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Let's start there. Let me pop that up in just a sec here. Um, shoot. You know what? I know where is this? So I'm on my iPad, and I don't know if I have all the features. Are you on your computer? Or,
I'm on my phone, but I got my computer open. But I don't know how to do much with it. I just know how to buy stocks and watch YouTube.
damn, I didn't realize, dude. It's pretty unfortunate. I don't think they allow on the iPad.
It's
Yeah,
all
because
cool.
it's
I can tell
different.
everybody's seen it anyway. Everybody's seen it anyway. So the
Yeah,
flight
it's a
path
2 minute video.
episode, yeah, flight path episode 9. It starts out with Brandon's dad, and he talks about we're not making every little piece in house. We're going to outsource everything we can, put it all together. It's going to be really exciting to make it, and pretty straightforward. And he exudes the confidence that it's going to happen, because we all got parents, you know what I'm saying? If our parents are like, that's a crazy idea, you out of your mind, usually a parent's the first one to tell you. even though they seem more like buddies and coworkers, but still, it is his dad. So if there was a snake oil salesman, I'm pretty sure Mr. Robinson would be like, hey, that's not the ethical path we're going down. But hey, if he says it, I'm like, there's a lot of credence to something like that. And then he introduced Kirk. He's like, plus we got Kirk. Kirk knows how to build airplanes. He's built airplanes before. And then Kirk's like, yeah, we building airplanes. And then that one cat got on there, I think it was Josh, and then he was talking about we've released a lot of exciting news recently about partnerships and so forth, and there'll be more of those to come, and also strategic partnerships with other organizations that'll be able to help them along their way to deliver on this promise, he said. Practically verbatim.
Nice. You remember word for word. My
Yeah.
big takeaway, I like the transparency and getting to see the team. I don't think I've ever seen the Tom, that was last name, CTO guy, Tom.
It.
I don't think I've ever seen him talk, just in general, the team. And yeah, they sound all like very confident. So I thought it was a neat little transparency video.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, there was Tom, too. That's right. So there's four guys. That's right.
yeah, there was four guys. Uh, hey Tebow, welcome, welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Buy the dip. Actually, yeah, it was a
Mm-hmm.
crazy dip this week.
Mm-hmm.
Did you buy? I just have my daily buy every day, so I didn't do any lump sum personally. Hover at
Oh,
120. Yeah, crazy to think actually.
yeah,
I'm
Hover's
literally
good.
hitting my average now is like almost like 106, I think I'm at. Keeps going up. So crazy to
Yeah.
think it almost hit my break even point, but um
I know that was
and if it
crazy.
doesn't,
That was
if it goes
crazy.
below, yeah, if it goes below, that's fine. We'll just keep buying, you know.
Yeah.
Like SCWO
Yeah.
is below my break was below my break even, you know, it's up and down. Um Smoking gun bot. And
Yeah.
I did. Unfortunately I don't have much money left because I bought the previous steps. Well, yeah, keep working and making money and invest your, monthly income.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't go
Yeah.
crazy on one. I don't do big lump
Yeah.
sums myself.
Yeah, that's smart. Just average in so you can kind of get the equilibrium price.
Yeah, yeah. I average in, and when I see the dip, I just double down, sort of. Not really lump summing, just like double down in my average, just throwing extra few bucks here and there.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I guess it's because I already have a decent amount of hover. So to anyone who's new and just starting an allocation of hover, pretty fair to lump sum a bit in the beginning, let's say. I guess it depends. It's circumstantial. Where I'm at, I'm pretty happy with my share amount. I know you are too. I mean, you've already hit your goal, so anything now is just extra. So I think that's how maybe people should view it. I like that you even had a goal. Almost any equity I go into, I never have actually like a goal. Of, like I want to hit this much. It's kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah,
The more the
I'm
better,
kind of
right?
navigate. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm kind of navigating this kind of approach where like I don't particularly want to put more capital into it currently. I'm kind of at the navigate like how it swings and stuff, and then when it gets out into no man's land where the margin for error is pretty good, where you really can't mess up either way, then maybe like not leave some on the table and go for like increasing my share count, coming back down or something like that, get out, get back in. But it's one of those things you just never know. You know what I mean? It's like trying to predict the outcome of a sporting event when you don't even know which players are going to be on the field that particular day. Like, we don't know what the news is going to be at that time. We don't know what. Like, there's some news that it's very transient, and it's like all these day traders get in, it can sky up and then sky back down because they're not in it for the long haul. Or maybe like some stuff could come out to where like it's really substantial and puts a lot of believers in that were not previously big believers, and then the bottom would be higher. So then that would make your margin for error higher if you get out because the bottom. Because I swear to God, I did not see it going back down to $1. But we did have some odd occurrences with the October, November, because October, November usually sucks. But it was kind of interesting that we were pumping off practically like no news, just like, the fact that it's awesome. You know what I mean? It's like,
I mean,
but
uh, that's what a lot of people were talking about, even with SCWO. Was like, where's the news and why is it going up or down? I mean, it's just the market in general has been doing that. So, like, and then the eVTOL market in general had a boom and a bust kind of thing. And we're seeing that reaction with Joby and Archer. So, it's
yeah,
it's not really just hover, but something else I want to talk about is just this is short term, right? But let's talk about a little long term. The actual flight path, right? This episode 9 and all these episodes are all about the path to, to full scale. There was someone on the Reddit who had made some strong arguments, or at least looked strong on the surface, uh, that they're not going to be able to make it. I don't know if you saw this, but
I did.
basically saying their numbers are too optimistic, and he doesn't think the thing will weigh 5,500 pounds or lift that amount. I forgot exactly the details. But he explained some sort of cascading effect of like, okay, they're going to need to produce more thrust to create that. Obviously, as you expand, as the aircraft expands, it's harder to, everything is harder, right? Exponentially grows harder, not linear. And he explained how when you're going to try and make it 5,500 pounds, like that, the fans are going to need to be a lot heavier. Everything, the motor will be have to be stronger and everything, and it'll be a cascading effect of like the weight's going to go up to be able to lift that. So it won't be 5,500. It's going to be more, and hence it's not going to work out because it'll just have this cascading effect of needing more energy, needing more weight, needing more power, and they won't be able to get to that, at the rate they were predicting or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm a little over explaining, but my point was, I think he's very wrong. I think, isn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong. I wish I had Mark here, but it's super simple math. It's
I just
it's
did it. I
literally
just did it on a piece of paper. So the
awesome.
Cavorite, I just did it on a piece of paper. So the
So
Cavorite X7 empty
let
is going to weigh, that Cavorite X7 empty is going to weigh 6,500 pounds. I think they're saying they're going to lift 1,500, right? Like 7 people and a little bit of luggage or a bunch of cargo, right? So you just add that up, it comes out to
wait,
8,000 pounds.
empty. It's 6,500,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
5,500.
No, it's six. That's what they said. 6,500
Where's the
pounds. Yeah,
55 from? I don't remember where the 55 is
I
from.
think the 55 was an error by somebody or something. It's all good. Very
So
simple.
okay,
6,500,
wait,
55, whatever.
8,000 is more than I thought. Um,
Yeah. So that
all
would
right.
be
So to me, wait,
500,
I don't know where you got
550
those
pounds.
numbers. Actually,
Okay. Empty, 6,500 pounds. Then they're going to be, they say they can lift what, 1,200 pounds, 1,500 pounds, whatever, right? So let's just round it up to 8,000 pounds. So 8,000 pounds, full weight, 8,000 pounds, 14 fans, that's 550 pounds per fan.
yes. Um, no, is it 550 or 600? I thought it was
These,
600. But if even if it's 550, maybe
yeah,
600 at a
yeah,
maximum. That's what I was
yeah,
doing. I was doing
yeah,
600 times the 14 fans comes out to
yeah,
8,400 it lifts.
yeah,
So
yeah.
actually, there is very little room for error if you think about it. I didn't think those were the numbers. I thought it was 5,500 it's going to weigh, and
It
you
could
have
be.
basically 3,000 pounds of room for margin for weight. For it depends also if this thing is going CTOL, it can lift more because it doesn't need to use all the power in the fans. Um,
Right.
or STOL actually, dude. Have you seen Electra's takeoff? I wish I could show it on the stream right now. This is crazy. Have you seen they just like released a video like a week ago? You never seen it?
No, no, no.
I've never experienced what an S-tone really looks. It's actually really cool. It literally maybe went 10 feet. It needed like 10 foot of runway, and it flew. like
Oh wow.
like diagonal, like literally a mix of conventional and vertical. It just 10 foot, and then it started just taking out diagonally. It was really cool. I want to see hover fly like that. So I wonder, whether you're doing S or C toll, you're you can benefit way more from the weight capacity. And the S toll was really cool because you can literally go on like go on the street. You don't actually need a runway. It was literally like 10, 20 feet. It looked so cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, Riso just put on the chat that he checked the website and it says 5,500 pounds max. So I remember
that's what I
Brandon did an
saw.
interview. Yeah, Brandon did an interview, and I remember it was like a convention or something, a conference, and he said that the one they have now is 650 pounds, and the one they're going to make is going to be 6,500 pounds. But it's all the same: 5,500,
Here, look at
6,000,
this.
6,500.
Look at
But
this.
thanks,
It
Riso.
makes This is why it makes sense. It's very simple
Yeah,
math. They're planning to lift 5,500. 14 fans producing, let's say, 600 pounds of thrust equals 8,400 pounds compared to 5,500. That's 3,000, just under 3,000 pounds of room for error. So even if they're wrong in the 5,500, which they're not, it's simple math. They have smart engineers and stuff behind this. Who's that one faceless Reddit dude that knows this shit? I guess he said he's building an aircraft or something. I don't know. Maybe he knows his stuff. Probably downplaying it. But he's one guy. And one guy has, we have 180 cognitive biases, every person. So he
yeah,
has no one to correct him, no peer reviews. There's no way he knows what he's, not that he doesn't know what he's talking about. There's just no way he's inaccurate. Like, I mean, that he is accurate. He must be having some
yeah,
inaccuracies in his math.
yeah.
But here, wait,
I'm
here's my
gonna,
point. Here's my point.
yeah.
Remember how Brandon said this thing can fly with 30% uh, of the fans gone?
Bam,
Or right.
bam.
Okay. What
Yeah,
is 30%? That's 70%. So 70% of 14 fans is 9.8, let's say 10. 10 fans producing 600 to 550, 10 producing 550 pounds of thrust, or if it's 600 pounds of thrust, that's 6,000. When 5,500 is the max. Wait,
yeah,
what if it's less? What if it's 5,000 or 4,500? This thing could fly on actually like 40%. 30% is actually a safe, everything, all the numbers they're actually telling us is like very safe. There's a lot of margin for error, is my point. Because
yeah,
if it's producing 600 pounds of thrust, it has 10 fans, that's 6,000 pounds. You still have 500 pounds room for error, and that's on maximum. And that's not even taking account to what if there's less weight? What if you're not doing VTOL and you're doing SRC? Like, all the numbers are actually way, way more in our favor. Like the 500 miles range actually can expand to like 800 plus, right? Even the cargo, it was like 1,500 pounds of cargo. It can actually take up to 1,800 pounds of cargo if you read the fine print and stuff like what they say. And I
yep,
think even those numbers, the 1,800 is downplaying it, right? Like they can actually probably do more, but for safety reasons, it shouldn't, right? We shouldn't want to always, hit the like run the thing at its maximum capacity. Like even
yeah,
here on the cruise ship, I just did right now. I did the behind the scenes tour. It was actually pretty cool. And in the control room, they explained to us how there's 5 engines, um, and right now only four are on because we're going pretty fast. We need to go fast to the next destination. But typically, it'll be like three or two on when you're going slower. Never ever do they use all five. Never. I didn't know that. Did you know that?
wow. I did not.
They have no reason to ever use all the engine. It's just safety to have extra, I guess. And so I'm sure with aircrafts they have the same margin for safety sort of concept. I don't know what the
Good.
actual numbers may look like, but just
Yeah,
the concept of like, all right, they need some room for error. So all the numbers we're seeing is actually really downplaying it. And the craziest thing of it all is all the numbers that are downplayed are just like so much greater than the competition, you know?
hmm
Like
hmm hmm
Joby and Archer, like they're not carrying nearly enough cargo, not going nearly enough the distance. They're not even nearly as safe. They have way less use cases. I mean, I can go on and on about how this is just better. It's kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Let me get to some of the comments here, unless you have any thoughts on that. But it's just the numbers are
Yeah,
so to the benefit the more you think of it.
yeah, unfounded negativity is a thing I'm not a big fan of. You know, I like to be an optimistic individual. I think that the things that we put out into the environment are what we're going to get back from the environment. Granted that we, demand that the environment gives us back what we deserve. And I think this unfounded negativity is kind of not a very good thing to do in your personal life or your finances or in your stock picks or concepts regarding companies. I like Horizon Aircraft very much, and they seem like straight shooters. And I like, yeah,
Good
I
point.
could talk
You know,
for
uh,
hours about many things I like about them.
yeah, good point. Like honestly, any bad company, just don't pay attention to them. Like the people who are shilling them and shorting them, and they're just net negative to everything, right? Um,
Yeah,
and
yeah, man.
and I wonder how those people are in real life, because how you do anything is how you do everything. So they must be assholes in real life.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, like I don't know. I'm not here talking about the companies I don't like. Like to be honest, Archer, not a fan.
yeah.
But I'm not gonna start shilling them and why they're bad.
Yeah,
Um,
life's too long. Life's too long, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like if something sucks, just let it be. It'll evaporate with the natural course of things. You know, it's like
yeah, I can make a
if you think
whole
about it,
video on like United Healthcare, like don't put your
yeah,
money on the thing.
like
I mean,
real losers, people just ignore them. If it's a real loser, people just ignore them. If people are trying to put a lot of attention, look at this loser. It's usually because they have a vested interest to do it. You know?
yeah, yeah, I agree. Let's get to some of the comments. It's getting a little, a
Yeah,
lot in here. Where should we go? Um, is there a the market preference buying opportunity? SCWO even had a crazier dip. That's right. I bought some shares in that 600 and also 2,500. Are you
it
talking about
did.
hover nets? Yeah, I bought some too, but have to be careful because those risky stocks don't want you to make too big of a position. And then either I think they're talking about SCWO still. Um, yeah. So let's see. Have you guys heard of that company called Jet Optera? They have a jet propulsion and can vertically take off too. Not only have heard of it, made a video on it with Mark Berry, and I actually reached out to the CEO like a week ago. He accepted me on LinkedIn, and I sent him a message, and he didn't respond. So a little disappointed with that. I might send a follow-up message. I sent a good message. I'm pretty good at sending a compelling first message to these people, but they're
Yeah.
busy and important and whatever. But I sent a message to him because he's raising a fund now on WeFunder, which is the same platform that I shared. Who I interviewed also Siren Biotech CEO. Anyways, whatever. I found it really interesting. They're raising now. Not only have heard of it, try to reach out to him, and I want to know more about it because it's not. It seems awesome, but it seems like it's probably gonna fail. And if you want to check out the interview podcast with Mark Berry, he dives into more, you know, from an aerospace engineer standpoint, why it won't work out. And it's pretty interesting. But they do have like the sexiest aircraft, I will say, which is cool for them. So that
I don't know. I
definitely
think
helps get
Hover's the
some
sexiest. I
attention.
think Hover's the sexiest, personally.
Nah, it's nice, but it's not the nicest. It could be
Hey,
nastier. Let's do it, Andreas
everybody
style. We
finds
haven't
sexy
really
different.
seen.
Everybody finds sexy different.
Have you seen the jet opera aircraft?
Probably in passing.
Well, you should look it up. It's really cool. But
Yeah.
anyways, to anyone who hasn't watched, also check out Electra's um STOL transition flight. It was really cool, very cool. 5,500 max on hover rezo. What is rezo mean? I'm not sure. The
Yeah,
max
you know
weight
what this
of
is
the
like?
X7. Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
this is like, Matam? This is like let's say it's not baseball season, right? Let's say it's football season. But like we're doing a baseball season show, like, oh, next season. Oh, did you see their picks they got in the college draft? Like, oh my God. Or like that guy that's like flying the banner for his favorite baseball team, but it's like the winter, it's kind of like that. Like, oh, this year is gonna be awesome. It's like you know what I mean? Like, look at that head coach. Oh my God, they're gonna score so many points now. And then people are like, yeah, whatever. They're like, you're crazy. Like, it's still hockey season. What are you talking about? It's like, no, dude, they got them picks. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at Brandon Robinson. He went and did all those interviews. Most CEOs won't do that. You reach out to a lot of CEOs, and what? A lot of them are like they ghost you or don't respond because a lot of
Yeah.
these guys got handlers, and it's like they're like, yeah, no, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like this dude's gonna ask you some out of pocket questions and put us on the spot and like make us look bad. You know what I mean? The guys that got the real cojones, the guys that really are on the ball, the guys that are the complete opposite of snake oil salesmen, those are the guys that go in front of the firing squad. You know what I'm saying? They
That's
do
true.
whatever.
That's a good
You know what I'm
signal,
saying?
actually. That's a
Dude,
good
that's a
signal to
hot
if they're legit
signal.
or not. Because, yeah, the Red
Yeah.
Terror guy, I was surprised. I thought he would say yes, honestly. Like, he's not seen anywhere. And if he's really optimistic about getting some retail investment on WeFunder, he should have definitely taken the call, I think. And I also reached out to Aleph Flying Car. That guy's definitely a snake oil salesman. That thing is that thing is crazy. I want to shill him with some crazy questions. So, I mean, they
Yeah.
should be scared.
Yeah.
But,
Uh-huh.
if they're doing things right, like hover, there's nothing to be scared about. So they do get on the call and take the hot seat like Brandon. Um,
Yeah.
oh, Rezo, the question mark was too this guy named Rezo. He says just from looking at it, seems like a niche use case. I guess I haven't ever looked at it. Very niche use case. Hover has well, not niche, multi-variant niche case, like use cases. I mean, we're gonna go on and on. But the biggest ones are medvac, cargo, transportation, um, and military also probably will be using it,
Yeah.
and just a lot of things. Like when I took the tour here today on the ship, there was in the front of the ship there's like like a little helicopter landing pad area, and I didn't know they actually don't land helicopters on there. They said they only hover them for any emergencies or I don't know whatever they need to do. They just hover them. They don't actually land on them, which that's an interesting case, and that's what helicopters are best for. But if
Yeah.
hover can do that, you know,
Yeah.
cruisers might start using them. So
Yeah.
like that's
That
just
that
that's
might
just like
that might be
one.
a
That's one of
helicopter job.
many. It probably will be. Probably will be.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
it's just there's so many variant cases that like you don't really ever think about. Um, but when it's out there, people will demand it. So, you know,
Yeah.
like the captain of the
Yeah.
ship, if he knows about it, if the technology starts to exist and he knows about it, they will demand it. I didn't know actually that cruises are actively hiring for like new innovations in technology. Like they're always advancing. Like you would think it's a pretty stable industry that everything's already like, you know, created and known and like this is what you do, but there's always new innovations and like how to advance the ships, which is pretty cool. So, I mean, I don't know how eVTOLs will help in that aspect, but just speaking of niche use cases, I just wanted to bring that up because I am here right now. So,
Oh yeah, man. Even like living in the United States, we get so Americanized regarding a lot of things, and even like the reality of an individual that lives out in the Arctic Circle, or like people that live in Canada and rural areas, like like those guys that have Bombardier 8-passenger snowmobiles that were built in the 1950s and like keep them up like they do the cars in Cuba. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like
You know,
those things are out there, bro. And it's like those people have a different reality. Like working on an oil rig, the mining companies and all that stuff out in the middle of nowhere. Like it is definitely a you build it, he will come type proposition. It's Ginsu knife. Many possibilities. Chopping cucumbers or picking door
I
locks.
don't know what those analogies even mean, but it made me think. And
Swiss Army knife.
also,
Swiss Army knife.
yeah, no, it's going to be interesting. I want to make a quick point, but let me read what this guy says. Welcome back. I remember you in free speech. He has some crazy takes sometimes. All right, what's this? Air scooter. Air scooter. What is air scooter? Looks like one of the best ones yet. They could increase the speed a little bit and make bigger gas tanks, and of course emergency parachutes so you can land on it and check it. Cool, I never heard of that. But the point I wanted to make, how, if you've seen Pivotal, those one-seater aircraft, ultra lightweight, you don't even need a pilot's license. Oh my
I
god.
believe I've heard of them.
And then there's like on the water those like not those jet skis, there's like those things that you like fly above the water and it lifts you, or kind of like a jetpack, honestly. People started making
Mm,
jetpacks, right? You seen those?
yeah, yeah.
When I see things like that, it makes me realize, like, okay, it's pretty cool. People are trying to kind of build the flying thing, but it's just a toy. But that doesn't mean there's not a demand for it. And that's what a lot of these companies are doing. They're building all sorts of toys, not real competition. And there's just a bunch of use cases, right? So, like, on land, right, you drive, you have a bike. If you want, you can have a motorcycle, a motorbike, or a scooter, or whatever. So many different ways to drive around. If you want, you can use an ATV, right? Which is fun,
Mhm.
and it's for specific use cases, right? If you're off-roading or whatever. Even even on water, you can, the biggest you can do is a cruise, a yacht, a small boat, fishing boat, whatever, or take like a jet ski, or maybe even a submarine, or one of those jetpacks thing. Like, there's plenty of ways on water to travel, and some of them are not even for travel. Some of them are for toys, for fun. And that's what I think those pivotal in some of those aircrafts might be. The Jet Optera or whatever. I don't know what their use case really is for. Like, you know, XTIA,
Yeah.
they're trying to do far distance, like business travel. You know, Joby and Archer and even HOVR is not even going for those. There's companies that I forgot the Light Aviation. They're doing 40-seater aircraft. There's the Regent. They're doing also like a 30, 40-seater sea glider. So like the thing flies like 10 foot, 30 foot above the water, not really that high. So you can really only use it like a ferry where there's water. You're not going to use it on land, right? So
Hmm.
they're building all sorts of different toys, I'll call it. And, they have use cases, but there's just so many, different avenues. So there isn't one company that's going to take all. Just like, you have plenty of, like, there's not one company in the auto industry, in the marine industry, and everything. And then there's all sorts of in between, right? Like you have
Hmm.
Yamaha who makes the motorcycles or whatever, and some other companies that they don't do cars at all. And I don't know if you buy a jet ski, who sells those, right? I don't know actually what
Yeah.
company, but definitely not the same company that make the boats. Um,
Right.
so yeah, there's going to be a company in every type of sector in this industry, like all sorts of different niche cases. Like, just like you have off-roading ATV, right? When I was in Costa Rica, that's how people travel. They don't use cars. Like, pretty cool, but specific to that place. Um,
Yeah.
and the coolest, most interesting thing is whatever the other ones are doing, Hover has at least one thing that no one is doing, which is flying in known icing, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
alone, I mean, that alone is going to be huge demand. Like,
Yeah.
are
That
there
one
not
thing.
are there not rich people in Canada or like in icy locations? Like there's obviously going to be demand for that from men, right?
Yeah.
At least at first, right? Until it gets to the masses.
What I've been
I don't know.
telling you, man, the only bear case people got is they don't have enough money and the thing's not going to work. They can't build it, right? Everything else is beautiful. It's like you know what I mean? It's like they don't have enough money. They're going to dilute. They don't have money for the runway. The thing doesn't really work. Like besides that, it's
In the
awesome.
grand
Like it,
scheme, all that's bullshit in the big picture, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
Because if the technology is there and it's the best there is, the design, the use case, whatever, someone's going to do it. Someone's going to back in, whether they go bankrupt and someone else will have to dissolve them. You know, maybe that sucks for us shareholders. But my point is, like, this is probably the aircraft that's going to help me take off.
dude. I saw
Like, like SCWO, right?
yeah,
That technology's been around for like over 100 years. Just no one was able to make it until right now. So it's not to say that, okay, they probably would have been bad investments early on because it was wrong place, wrong time. It didn't work out, and those companies died. But it's not to say that the direction is wrong. Like the direction's obviously right. We just don't know if, you know, will it be hover or will it be, you know, some other version of it, kind of. But it's definitely some way in this direction is the point. Like it just is.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how
Yeah,
better to
I
explain
saw
that.
I saw this I guess it was a conference or it was something like that. It was Certified Canada and I saw it today. The thumbnail on it was actually Horizon Aircraft. Then they were basically just kind of going over the year progress bullet points of advanced air mobility in Canada. They were talking about beta and all these different ones. And it really kind of like hit the point where Brandon talks about how like they're not inundated with like hundreds and hundreds of companies for certified Canada to slow down the roll of everything. And it's like they were literally just like mentioning like a dozen companies, and it was just kind of like that was that, and it was kind of like it just seemed very simple. Like simplicity is nice.
I agree. And to the argument that, oh, just because we get certified in Canada doesn't mean we'll get in the US. That's not true. It doesn't mean they will get. It will take a lot more time and money, but it doesn't matter because by the time they get certified in Canada and they can start flying and or selling in Canada, like I said, is there no rich people there? They can start making money, prove the concept. And then once it's also proven that way, and it's being flying with hundreds, maybe thousands of hours, it's going to be even easier to certify after in the US, right? Is it not? I
Well,
mean, this is a good
to
question for
quote
Marx,
Brandon
maybe, but
Robinson, to quote Brandon Robinson, he said there's bilateral agreements between Canada and the United States, and if you get certified through Canada, soon thereafter, it's quite simple to get certified in the United States. Now, I don't know if obviously it's probably not as simple as dropping a letter in the mailbox, but like he makes it sound pretty simple. And if anything, it's just more bullishness because by the time they get certified in Canada, it's rock and roll time. And then when they drop that we certified United States too, it's game over at that point. You know what I'm saying?
and maybe that's why they have the Ohio address. That's so hush hush, like wait and see, like don't pay attention, you know?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well,
Yeah.
the only thing he ever said about it, like the only thing concrete that made me interested whatsoever, was he said it was an address that we have that we could use for future things potentially. That's all he said. That's a logical answer to me because it seems true. Because you're right. It's just that's just
Yeah.
the way it is. You know
Probably
what I mean?
just applying to all sorts of stuff, whether it be
Yeah.
certification or grants or whatever
Yeah.
with regulation. I don't know. Yeah.
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 However, it definitely has quite varied use cases and unique that others don't have, like flying
Yeah.
inland icing. That's really cool and unique. What other ones are there actually? Yeah, honestly, cargo. I think cargo is unique, even though other people
Mhm.
have that. No one has
Yeah.
it to the extent that they have it, like the actual weight capability. Like I don't know. I keep bringing this up. It's crazy to me. Algorithm. Algorithm is built only for that one specific use case. And you know how much pounds we carry? Like I think 300, 300
Yeah,
or 600. I think it's 300. But even
yeah,
if it's 600, hovers is 15 to 1800s. and
yeah,
and that one is specifically for cargo. That's crazy. So
yeah.
like
Another. Well, one funny thing too. I was trying to put this into perspective to like I like to have very sane viewpoints about things that I'm active in. And so I look at this, it's like we're talking about a pre-revenue company that has their, half-scale demonstrator had a successful transition flight. They're the second people in history to be able to do that, except for those guys in 1950 that did it that Brandon was talking about in the interview I watched earlier today. And it was a conference, actually, not an interview. And it's funny because it's kind of like what I was saying earlier. It's kind of like we're in the preseason and we're like, I already know who's going to win the Super Bowl. I already know. The season ain't even started yet, but these are my picks. And it's like, there's a little bit of funniness to that. But in the end, where there's smoke, there's fire. And it's like,
you
it's
know what?
like
I
I'm happy to have got in now. And I imagine other people would like to be happy to get in early too.
I like that analogy a lot. It makes me think of like, okay, I don't watch sports at all. You tell me who's gonna win, I could not name you. I mean, I know the teams, but I have no idea who's good this year. Not paying attention, not watched any games. Cannot tell you a thing. But to someone
Yeah.
who's watching daily, which like to us as like eVTOL fans, we're watching daily the industry. Most people, like probably 99% of the people here, if I ask, they don't even know what an eVTOL is, right? So they have no idea who's going to win the eVTOL Super Bowl, so to speak, like you said. Whereas we're watching it day to day, we know who's even competing, who's going to go to the playoffs, and the final. I mean, right now, obviously, Joby and Archer are like number one seed, right, in the
Yeah.
East and West Conference, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
don't know where Hover would be, what seed, but Hover's like that competitive underdog. It's definitely making the playoffs, but it's that way. It's not getting a.
Yeah.
It's not like last place in the season. Um, so that's an interesting analogy. Like as like eVTOL fans watching daily and watching all the different companies too. We're not just specifically watching Hover. It's pretty interesting to think about. Like Electra,
Yeah.
really cool aircraft. Surprised this their transition flight made me really rethink a little bit of the STOL space. I'm pretty
Yeah.
getting me more bullish on the STOL space. STOL is almost just as useful as VTOL. You have to check out that flight. It's crazy, bro. Like 10 feet of
Okay.
runway.
This is what
Yeah.
hover would be like. So the NFL has expansion teams where they like add new teams into divisions, and it's like that's where you get your Jacksonville Jaguars and your Houston Texans, stuff like that, right? They have expansion teams. They put them in new teams, right? So Horizon would be like an expansion team put into the NFL where like their head coaches have won Super Bowls. Like these dudes was like won Heisman trophies in college, and now they've like won Super Bowls. But like the team they're on, they got 0 wins and 0 loses, and nobody knows what's going to happen. But they got the hot players. You know what I mean? They got Kirk over there building airplanes. You know what I'm saying? They got Brandon's dad. He was down there when they first invented the sport. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of
Yeah,
probably a
Joe
good
Kelly
sports
and all the new
analogy. Yes,
people, the
yes.
Jamil guy. Yeah, yeah,
Dude,
awesome
dude,
team
dude, dude,
growing
dude.
really.
Yeah, even what Mark was talking about, like a lot of these other companies, you just see the CEO, like that's it. That's the only guy you see. Like Horizon, they a gang, bro. We they like EBTL gang. Was I telling you? You know what I'm saying? I like that pic they put out with like all of them in the dark. You know what I'm saying? Like by the half scale. Like they got some builders, bro. Like this thing's happening, bro. Like for real. Like it's like game over. You know what I'm saying? It's like
And
it's crazy. It's like having a basketball team with like a 8 foot tall dude. He can slam dunk without even having to jump. He just like drops it in. You know what I'm saying? Just drop it in the basket.
not just that, they got the team, they got the equipment, right? Like a good team has the equipment. They got private jets, right? Most teams, in Europe or South America, they don't have private jets and stuff or big facilities to practice, right? And that to this guy's point here is like that analogy for me, right? Wondering Will
Yeah.
96 says the fact that Hover aren't overselling themselves, besides the personal characteristics of Brandon et al. I'm not sure what that means. Makes me think that they have contracts in the
And so on.
pipeline, partnerships. I mean, so that I think is interesting. The partnerships, right? Like they don't need to buy and spend all this money on this fancy equipment. They just partner and like, boom, like we got a private jet, we got a facility to practice in or whatever, right? Like, you know,
Yeah.
they have all these partnerships or like, okay, this is tried and true. They know where they're going to work with this. Then they test it out on their CFD models or go to some wind tunnels or whatever and make sure like, okay, let's put the parts that we got from the partners stuff and make sure this works. And, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
rather than doing all vertically integrated like the competition, which
That's a lot
could
of
work,
cash burn. That's a lot of cash burn right there.
could work, but you know, if you're running lean and startup wise, no, ideal. Um, hey, what's up, Big
Yeah.
Daddy?
Plus,
Welcome.
there's
Oh
so
no
many pieces
way,
of
Mark.
information. What?
Mark just joined. I was just
What's
about
up,
to end
guys?
it. I have 2%. I was just gonna
Oh,
say I have
hey.
to end the call.
All
Oh
right,
man.
I'll pick up where you left off.
Wait, I can maybe leave it going. I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it going. You guys can keep chatting. I have 1%. It might die. I'll just get my charger charged and I'll just join back. I don't know if it's
I
gonna
think he's
end
going
it, but
go get your charger and then restart it again.
no, I can't restart it. It has to just continue. I don't want to restart a new one.
All right, yeah, I think if you drop off, it's going to drop everything off.
Um, yeah, we'll see. If it doesn't, we'll keep going live. And well, I'll see on my phone in a second here if it's gonna
He
drop
waited
off.
until he was 1%. He's like, I'm at 1%. Oh
Yeah.
my
Sorry, guys. Sorry,
What's up,
I
buddy? You
was
just landed?
God.
no, I was doing yard work. I wanted to get a bunch of yard work done before it got dark. So
Nice.
at the house.
Oh
Nice.
wow,
A-
beautiful.
Anybody on the chat wants to buy a house in North Carolina? I got the house for you. I'm gonna start dropping bombs. So
Hell yeah.
Might come up
We want to
to
see what the
might come up
outside
in
looks like.
December.
yeah,
Yeah.
we may do some live streaming from the house here in December. So do some rap scenes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna show a
But
little of place.
that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Where are
Yeah.
you? Are you in the Pacific?
Um, and no, Atlantic. Um,
Oh, okay.
Norwegian.
Oh, okay. What? You're not on
Wait.
Carnival?
Wow, I can't believe. Wow, this is the longest one per. That's what Anthony said. What? Why
I
would I
know.
be on Carnival,
I
guys?
was
Come on.
listening to you guys.
Oh, you were. I thought you were in the
Yeah.
air.
No, no, no. I was in the air, but then I got to the house and I wanted to get yard work done before it got dark. So
I'm
I was
glad you were
just
You know,
listening. I'm glad
I
you
was
were
like
listening. Otherwise, I was going to give you a 90-second recap. So
I
this
was
is
like
what we've been talking about.
I was Forrest Gumping it on my snapper lawn tractor. So hold on, boys. Give me 1 second. Let me get set up.
good. Smoking Gun said, "It's always good to
Yeah.
see you, Mark." I agree.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, to whoever talked about the Reddit and saying that it's not feasible, um, I would argue that I think it is feasible, especially when you look at the video that just came out. Anthony, are you still there? I think we
Yup.
lost Matan. All right, I think we lost Matan, but hopefully we can keep going. Or do you think we
Right.
dropped off the live?
No, I think we're still good.
All
I
right.
can still see it. I can still see it.
Okay, cool. I think that, well, first off, as you start scaling larger, it in some instances it can be to your benefit because it can allow you a larger disk area for each one of your fans. So your fans, because that's what happened. That was the problem with the company in that went tits up that
Lilium?
Archer bought Lilium. Yeah, with Lilium, they had such a small diameter on each one of their ducted fans, and that becomes
Yeah.
less and less efficient for per power per kilowatt. So as you start increasing the size of your disk area up, which Hover will be able to do, because of course just their wing area is going to grow significantly to support just the bigger aircraft. So I mean, you look at the ducted fan for an F-35. I think that thing's like 40 inches or 45 inches. That thing can produce 20,000 pounds of thrust. Granted, it's using a turbine engine to drive it, has like crazy amounts of torque, but it can also, like the disc area, it can be done. And it electric ducted fans come down to three things. It comes down to the geometry of the blade and how many blades you have. It comes down to the effective disc area. So pretty much like you've got the radius of the fan, or the radius of the motor. That's pretty much like a dead space in the center. But then once you get out to a certain point past that, where you actually have blades cutting into the air all the way out to the tip, that is considered effective area. So as you grow your ducted fan bigger, it's just going to become more efficient for the kilowatts that you have available. Granted, they will need bigger motors. So it's the fan area, it's the effective fan area, it's the geometry of the blade, the number of the blades, and then it's just the RPM and the torque. And the RPM and torque come down to voltage and current. So the batteries are out there to produce it. You look at like the amount of torque a Tesla can produce, right? So that's not a problem. The final equation is the voltage and the torque, and that's your battery packs. So what Hover needs to do is come up with batteries that can discharge an enormous amount of current really quickly, because they don't need it for a long period of time. Like, Archer and Joby are saying, oh well, we need, that's the big thing for eVTOLs, is how far can they go in their efficiency. But Hover is a little bit of a different case. It's more of how can we discharge an enormous amount of power, and almost all of that power for that short burst of time to get vertical and then convert into into wingborne flight. And because theoretically you almost want to discharge all your batteries at that point, because then you can have less batteries. It's kind of like you go look at your leaf blower light, right? Like a leaf blower will have you'll have a 20-volt leaf blower, and one will be 20 amp hours and the other one will be 40 amp hours. It's just twice the size of the battery. But each battery, and one of them weighs half as much as the other one. So they're going to need more power, but they're actually going to be more efficient as they get bigger. And on top of that, their wing, the part of the morphing wing that folds open, or that transitions open, that is still a lifting body. So as soon as they get into, once they get above probably like 15, 20 knots, that thing starts generating lift. So their transition can be pretty quick. All of this quick, puking
Yeah.
of the mouth is, I think they're someone who's saying, well, I'm doing homework and this just can't be done.
Yeah.
I beg to differ, simply because you look at Hover and Archer, and they're lifting similar weight. I mean, what does a Hover weigh? A Hover probably weighs 4 or
Empty.
5,000 pounds. Well, it's
Yeah.
yeah. I
The
guess
website
what's its
said 5,500, but then I heard a conference interview. Branded it. He said 6,500. So I'm guessing it's
Mhm.
between 5,500 and 6,500 based off of the pieces of information floating around.
Sure. And for something that's being powered by a PT6 engine, that's not a big deal. And your motors are going to get bigger, but again, I said this on a previous podcast. We've already passed the Rubicon of electrification. At this point, only batteries are only going to get lighter, and they're only going to get more energy dense. So, and we may right now be in a situation where Hover may not have the battery technology, but within a couple of years, that battery technology will be light enough. So they could theoretically be planning for the future and just being like, well, we're going to get everything else developed, and then we will develop our battery packs to support what we need. But the biggest thing, that their biggest challenge, is discharge. They've got to be able to discharge an enormous amount of power really quick, just to get up in the air and then transition, and then everything can shut off. But I think,
Yeah.
and on that video, you see, so the video that they just came out with, I watched it, and I was like pausing the video and taking screen grabs because
Yeah.
I wanted to get an idea. They had a fan that was pointing in the horizontal, not in the vertical. Probably that is their ducted fan, and I was trying to get a reference of like how big is that fan.
Me too.
Um,
Yeah.
because if you can get an idea, like, is it a 30-inch fan? Is it 35, 40 inches? I wish there would have been someone standing next to it or something to get an idea, but they did well in their by, protecting their IP of keeping it pretty obtuse, I guess, in terms of the information.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I suspect that's probably I think their ducted fans on the X5 were 3D printed. If you look at those at a really like granular level, it almost looks like they have layers to them. That may just be the carbon as well. But yeah, I'm really curious to see what their new ducted fans will look like and just how much bigger they will be.
Hmm.
Because on the X5, I bet you the ducted fans weren't any more than probably like 15 inches in diameter or something. They're really small. Um, so they will need to size up. They'll,
Yeah.
probably for the X7, like I bet you they'll be 40-inch fans or something. They're gonna be big. It's gonna be like,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Like a big ass plane. It's gonna be a big ass plane. Yeah.
it's a big plane. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, if it's 55 to 6,000 pounds empty, then you still have, yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be its max takeoff weight will be 8,000 pounds or something, and because
Yeah.
you got to carry all that fuel too. That's the other challenge is if a PT6 sucks 50 gallons an hour. So 50 gallons an hour is times 6 pounds per gallon. That's 300 pounds an hour. So if you're going to have a 2 hour endurance, you're going to blow through 600 gallons of gas, 600, 600 pounds of weight.
Yeah.
That helps you though on
Yeah.
on landing, because of course you're going if you're going to land in a vertical, you're 600 pounds lighter, so you won't need as much current or as much energy. But
Well.
yeah, I love that they keep putting out videos. I like that they're being
Yeah.
transparent. I like that they're being
Yeah.
really forthcoming. And I think we're between Thanksgiving and Christmas. It could be quiet here a little bit, but I'll tell you what, with this new stock drop, I loaded up. I'm like, all right, load up now because we get into next year and they keep showing promise. And if they start showing partnerships, they start coming in with, um, you know, maybe even potential partnerships with government or government contracts or something. Dude, I don't want to knock a different podcast, but they were, saying, um, they were saying that the stock price was way too high at $4 and just there's no justification for this stock price and blah 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 blah. And I completely refute that. I think their stock price could be at $10 or $20 simply because
Yeah.
if Tesla came out tomorrow and said, "Oh, we're going to develop exactly what Hover's doing, and we're starting a company, and we're going to do this," immediately the stock price would it would be a $5 billion company immediately. It is
Yeah.
all the stock price is all just a function of who are these guys and do we trust that they can actually do it or not. And
Yeah.
that's purely why the stock price is down. The idea is I would say already a half a billion to $1 billion idea, which puts their stock price at what, $10 at $1 billion.
Yeah.
So
At half a billion. Yeah.
yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, at half
Yeah.
yeah, half so um and remember this too. Like this is the other thing. Like when Lockheed Martin gets when the F-35 program started, it's not like Lockheed Martin had the airplane designed and they said, "Oh, we're now going to develop these." So or we developed this all on our own cash. Government procurement programs and programs of record actually pay the company for their development cost. So in the event, the Canadian government or some other government wanted one of these for militarization, which you are seeing so much in this space, both Joby is teaming with L3, you've got Archer with Anduril. you could have another one of these defense contractors step up and say, we want to use this platform, and immediately, and if a government wants it, the government will just be like, okay, yeah, here's a couple $1 billion,
Yeah.
and now that changes the game for everything. Like the stock would go through the roof. So
Yeah.
at this point, I'm like, load up, because I could
Yeah.
easily see. I mean, just a year ago at this time, we were hanging
Oh, he's
out.
back. Matan's
Yeah, he's
back. All
back. All right,
right. Yeah.
get a battery.
Oh my god. Um, no, there was well, I went to get the charger and there was they were cleaning the room, so I couldn't stay there and charge.
You missed it,
Were
man.
you able to?
Dude, you missed it. Brandon joined us for like 5 minutes.
Okay.
He announced a major contract. No,
No, man, that'd be so fun. We
Hmm.
gotta do a live with him soon.
Yeah, if
All right.
he's
So,
got
so what you
time.
missed?
I came to
So
the
what you missed?
speakeasy actually.
Oh, there
Cool.
we go. They got to have good reception on speaking. So what you missed is Mark broke down some additional information regarding your debunking of the Reddit guy that said it wouldn't fly. He was dropping the numbers and the logical viewpoints about that, and then we were
Oh,
talking
cool.
about the yep, and then we were talking about how the stock price is not overvalued. And I wanted to just mention. Andy said something about he really liked the flight paths. And he zooms in like me. I do the same thing, Mark. I freeze it and I zoom in and check the
Yeah.
stuff out, you know. And I was thinking about that because the guy said they're working on different rigs. So even whatever they
Mhm.
got there, that could be their 50% rig, that could be their quarter rig. We don't even know. So
Yeah.
whatever size we see, we don't even know if that's the full rig anyway.
Yeah. And to blow bullshit to the short report, all their videos are still a tiny little hangar, which just drives home that they don't need a huge facility to get to the point of building this full scale model. And I also wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if here in the next couple of months they announce a different facility that they'll be moving to, or they may build a facility on that airport. It would
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
interesting. Like you can go to these airports and just ask, or look at their, at least in the US, you could go to like a county airport and look at their meeting minutes that the county airport has um every month or every couple of months. And if someone's going to build a hangar, it has to get approved. So we could like, you could like
Yeah.
follow an airport and be like, oh, has a new hangar build been approved at your airport? Um, and so that could be just a telltale sign, like, yeah, they're actually going to expand and have expansion. But um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
Hey,
and if you have a good
so
friend, like if you have a good friend, why are they a good friend? It's because they're somebody you can trust because they do things that make sense. They're not going to do
mhm,
things that do not make sense out of the blue, right? And if you look at Horizon Aircraft, they just do things that make sense. So it's kind of like people are so jaded from companies lying to them and flipping, viewpoints and switching things and lying and diluting and do all that stuff. And it's like they're just going to do what makes sense. Like Horizon's kind of like a good friend company. It's like if it makes sense, we're going to do it. Like we need more space, we're going to do it. We're going to add
yeah,
auxiliary space, we're going to do it. You know what I mean? It's like it's pretty
yeah,
straightforward. I think people are just too accustomed to being lied to.
yeah. I mean, Hover has a lot to prove still, but at least now
Yeah,
at this point in their videos that they're coming out, like they're showing videos of their bigger fans. They did show a photo of their PT6 engine, or a video of their engine sitting probably. I mean, it looked like it was in a really large steel structure. So I don't know if that's a test rig or if that is just like a shipping, how it was shipped or something. But they've got a PT6 sitting in their hangar. That right there is $750,000 of material that's going to go into the X7. So it's not like they're not starting to bring together what's necessary to build this airplane.
to
yeah,
me, what's more important with things like that is just creating a system and process. Like, okay, not just they have the engine, which is capex, and it's sitting there and it's being used, it's being probably tested to know exactly how it should fit in the aircraft and what its purpose is for. And all these
yeah,
things that they keep doing, it's like it just creates, all the math to where does it add up and make
Mm.
sense, and will full scale actually work?
Yeah.
So it's not just even like the asset value, it's also like, okay, the value of what it's actually doing in the business strategy. And like that's the whole value of almost every company. What's their strategy? What, you know? And
Yeah.
I don't know. I just hope to see it actually like, let's see. I want to see some videos of like what are they actually doing with it? Like maybe, I don't know, maybe just like a little bit more of like what's the benefit? Why'd they pick that one specifically? I know Mark spoke a little bit about it. Like it is the best one, but it is expensive. Um, you
It's
know,
expensive, but it's not a a PT6 is used on everything. Like you look at any turboprop airplane, and it's going to have pretty much a PT6 on it, some variant of a PT6, like a C-130. A huge the enormous cargo four-engine airplane has a PT6 engine on it. It's just a extremely large variant of it. There's like 50 different variants and sizes of the PT6 class of engine. They've been around since the 60s. They're never
huh.
going to not be used. So it's just if for the size aircraft that they have, it makes perfect sense. And also, like when you think about an engine, when you think about all of the capabilities this airplane's going to have, like being FIKI certified, you need an engine that can produce a lot of heat so you can have ducting out into your edges if you're going to use hot air to actually cool or to to run your heated edges. And or if not, you're going to also need it for cabin pressurization. So having like a piston engine, it just wouldn't make sense
Wait,
for
see,
what the
the
capabilities airplane's going
PT6,
to do.
the PT6 is saying will help with cabin pressurization.
You're kind of breaking up, dude. What's that?
My bad. Um, the PT6 you're saying helps with cabin pressurization.
Yeah, yep. It's
Oh
so
wow. But
a
that's not in
turbine.
their plan, I think, right? It's not in, is
I
it?
would expect this would be you if you're gonna go if this airplane's gonna go above 12,000 feet, there'll be cabin pressurization.
Mm.
So you would want that. Um,
I hope so too. Um, Anthony, every detail. In fact, am I wrong? I think they announced, or maybe not announced, but maybe written somewhere that they don't plan to do pressurization.
Yes, he said that the current setup is not for pressurization because they're not going to be flying that high, but he said they could easily do that and do that.
okay. Well, if they're not going to go high, then their PT6 is not going to run at its optimum range either. So this is the kind of the difference between like turbine engines do not run efficient at lower altitudes. They run
Mm.
the best when they're up at, plus like 15,000 feet to 30,000 feet. Um, I mean, they could, but if you're going to be at 15,000 feet, you need to have cabin pressurization. Anything above like 10,000 feet or like 10 to 20,000 feet, you're going to want to have cabin pressurization. There's a lot more to it. When you're cabin pressurization adds a lot of complexity. So Brandon may just be like, yeah, we're not going to go that high. Um, and if that's the case, that's the case. That's fine. But then they
How
would
Is
just
it
high
have
does it
more.
plan
possible?
to? Oh, I forgot.
What's that?
Aren't they planning to fly above 5,000, Anthony? I'm pretty sure.
No,
Uh,
they're
I don't
definitely.
think so. I don't know. As Mark, I don't know. I don't know. I
Yeah, but
remembered
we're
that. I
doing
remembered. Yeah.
for long distance. Is it, Mark? Isn't it unreasonable to fly low for a long distance? Let's say 500 miles, or is that not long distance?
It's not that it's unreasonable, it's just that it's not efficient if you're using a
Mhm.
turbine
Yeah.
engine. So like
Yes.
today when I flew to North Carolina in my airplane, which is not a turbine engine, it's a piston engine, non-turbocharged piston engine. So it's just like, you know, it's whatever air is out there is what it's going to suck into it. That
Hmm.
I flew at 8,500 feet, so it's not and I don't have cabin pressurization either. But if you're running a PT6, it's not going to run as efficient at those altitudes.
Can I ask you a question about cabin pressurization? Is
Yeah.
cabin pressurization a black and white situation? Are there gradient scales to it?
There's actually gradient scales. So like right now, like Matan and like we're all basically at sea level pressure, right? So we're at like um, 29 inches of mercury. And I say that simply because that's how it's rated when as you start climbing higher, there's less air pushing down on you. So there's less pressure. Um, so what you get is a delta. Like you get in an airliner and they pressurize their cabins to what's considered 8,000 feet. So when you're in an airliner, it would be like being at Breckenridge, Colorado. Um, so you're going to go from sea level up to Breckenridge pretty darn quick and then back down again. Um, but the difference, if you're at 40,000 feet and your cabin is pressurized to be at what would be considered 8,000 feet, there is an enormous amount of force on the fuselage to hold that pressure in. I mean, you got to imagine the fuselage actually becomes like a balloon and it wants to expand. And that is so from a design perspective, pressurization will add a lot of weight. It'll add a really
Hmm.
significant amount of weight because you have to have the structure designed to not burst. It's like the opposite of a submarine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like in a submarine, you've got pressure pushing down on you. Well, in an airplane, the pressure is wanting to push out because you are pumping air into the cabin to maintain that pressurization to make it feel more like being at sea level. It's why in an airliner nobody wears oxygen masks. Like there's no need for it because the pressurization system is just pumping air into the cabin at an altitude that everybody is comfortable at. And the whole reason, like the drop down masks and stuff, all that is in an emergency case if there was a quick decompression at altitude, you've got like 30 seconds to a minute to get down lower before like you pass out. Um, so like pilots, the pilots when they're flying, they always have to check, and they've got masks that mask sits right next to them. So if there was a sudden decompression in an airliner, their first thing is they just grab that mask and they stick it on, and that thing is giving them pure oxygen, so that they don't, pass out.
Hmm.
So there are different
The,
aircraft will and pressurization will be limited, like can limit the altitude of an airplane. So like you take the Cirrus jet, that single engine jet, that thing's only certified up to 28,000 feet. It has kept a pressurization system, but if it were to go higher, then A, the engine may not work, but B, you could burst the break the hull or break the structure of the airplane. So
Great answer and great question. I actually had no idea. I never thought of that. I assumed it's kind of black and white. I never even thought of that. Like, yeah, there's
no
obviously
cabin.
different levels of
Yeah,
it, and the airlines obviously should have the best
yeah.
ones.
And in
Um,
a real simplistic way of the way an airplane is pressurized is you pretty much have the pump, which is the turbine engine. Like air's coming into the turbine and it starts going through these compressor stages to heat to compress the air, and off the last compressor stage there's literally just a hole in the side of the engine, and they're pulling some of that air off of it. I mean, it goes through valves and it's checked and regulated and everything, but that is extremely high pressure, high temperature air, and that is literally just getting pumped into the cabin, and then there's an outflow valve that pretty much like think of like your hose. Like if you squeeze, if the hose has got water going through it and you put your thumb on it, the
Mm-hmm.
hose is going to get harder, right? You're increasing the pressure inside the hose, and your thumb can actually regulate that pressure in the hose. It's the exact same thing with the pressurization on almost any airplane. You've got an inflow of air coming in, and then there's just an outflow valve that's constantly regulating that pressure at that desired rate.
Now, since there's gradient scales to pressurization, is it possible to like have an AI set up that pressurizes you what you require? Like if they're not that high, they need no pressurization, but if they start
It's
climbing a little bit,
Yeah,
maybe it
that's
could
automatic.
pressurize on percentages. Oh, that's automatic.
It's automatic. The outflow valve basically schedules for the different. What will
Mm,
happen is it's just like a regulator on a breathing mask or anything, and it just says, all right, pressurize for this cabin pressurization. So they may be like, we want to be at, you know, now, if as you get higher, like that's one of the things, if you start getting extremely high, then you actually have to drop your cabin pressurization down because the delta between the inside and the outside is so great, you could
hmm
burst the hull. So,
Right.
I mean, the ultimate delta in pressurization is space, like the space station, right? Because you're in a vacuum in
hmm
space. So,
Right.
yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't even think of that. So the space station has really the best cabin pressurization system in
Well,
the world.
so
I mean,
the
has like the
space
best tech everywhere. Like
Well,
really
the
cool.
space, yeah, space is different in the sense that you don't have an outflow. Like you're not pulling something from the outside, pressurizing it, running it through, and then kicking it back out again. Space it's just a closed system, or it's like, yeah, what's inside the vestibule is what you get, and you don't ever let anything out of it. So
Interesting.
I think the only time they like outflow anything from the inside of the space station is like if they were going to do like an extra vehicle, an extra, or if they were going to leave, like go out and do maintenance or something, they have to go into a really small room and then lock them out and then depressurize that room, and then that goes to a vacuum, and then they can go outside, and then they come back into that room and they close it off, and then they pressurize it, and then they can come back inside. Like you have to regulate between the two.
Can we
So
circle back to this?
yeah,
Can we
sorry
circle
guys.
back to this? The stock prices overvalued. I want to circle back to that real quick.
All right. Yeah.
So, if we look at this from a commodity standpoint, right?
Hmm.
If somebody builds a house for cheaper than other guys are building houses, that's just more meat on the bone for everybody. It's like it could be a cheaper house, but you could charge more or whatever. That there's dimensions to this thing, right? And
Hmm.
somebody could be like, "What the hell is Hover doing at $4? Archer's at $6.50 right now. What the hell's going on?" Hover's at 4 and Archer's at $6.50. This is mind boggling. But like it really is. It's looking at the market cap. It's looking at
Yeah.
how many bars of gold are available in this small village to purchase. How many shares are there? It's like
Hmm.
if Hover
I
can
don't
do the
know.
job, because it doesn't take much to move the needle. Like Hover has not needed to burn the cash. The float is 43 million shares. It does not take a lot to push the needle, unless your available shares is 500 million. And then your market cap is multiple billions. I'm just saying, like, you can't necessarily just go by share price. Like, I get it, that's what the market wants to
Yeah.
pay or whatever, but like, you can't just be like, oh my god, like there's companies that their market caps are billions of dollars and they got a billion shares outstanding and their stocks are 35 cents. You know what I mean? It's like, is that
Hmm.
undervalued? So you got to look at all. It's a three-dimensional thing. You got to look at the market cap. You got to look at the share price. And you got to look at the available float and the amount of shares available. So it's kind of like, yeah, like with what Hover's got, like no, they do not deserve to be a $60 million company currently. Like these guys, they're going to be rocking and rolling. Like when the news comes out, let's say Bombardier comes out, Death smiles, he's gonna flip that T-bone steak. He'll hop on for the face reveal. He'll be like, I told you guys. William George Brumner, he might be there, with his GoPro. You know, he's going to be like shooting a video, you know, but I'm just saying, like the hover stock price, it's interesting because it's like it's in a space that has so much potential. You know, you can like look at Ehang. Ehang's like $16 a share. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, Archer's $6, Ehang $16. What the hell's going on? So it's all relative information, but I do not think they are undervalued. I would like them to go further up. Yes, we would.
You
Yeah, it
don't
is
think
all
they're undervalued
relative.
or
I
overvalued?
Yeah.
he thinks they're undervalued for sure. Anthony thinks they're
I think they
undervalued.
are too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you
That,
can't exactly
yeah.
compare it because, as the price goes up, they can do forward splits and, you know, I don't know, maybe to some degen retail it might look crazy, but generally speaking, I think people are smart enough to realize it's more about the market cap. And even though it's $4 to $6 compared to Archer, does not mean at all like they're comparable.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. But it is interesting. It is an interesting dynamic to look at if you know how these companies kind of look at that because I wonder if Hover actually goes up a lot in price. Do you think they'll do a forward split? Like, are they actually trying to appeal to retail and like share price? Because I mean, if the thing's at fifty
Yeah.
dollars,
I think
a
as
split should be
Hover
fine.
grows, I think as Hover grows, like any growth company, let's say it grew to $50, I would dilute and I would start pulling that market cap for my development and investors should understand that. Any growth company has done that. Joby's done it, Archer's done it, Rocket Lab has done it. They've all done it. Look at the end goal. And if investor wants to gamble, then that is your gamble. Is all right, I'm going to buy into this company and hopefully they're not going to dilute and I'm going to lose and I'm going to lose 20%. But if any growth stock that I've bought into, when they diluted, I'm like, all right, well, it's going to keep going up because they need the money to keep development going. And sure enough, I mean, I remember when Rocket Lab diluted and it went down to $15 just earlier this year, and now Rocket Lab's at 40 and it went almost to 70. So,
I think it's a
um,
scary word for people, but it's not a big deal. Like it's just
Yeah.
the nature of growing, these kinds of businesses. Like just why does any venture capital invest in anything at the beginning, right? They
mhm,
know they're gonna get diluted if they're, in the series A or B or whatever, like they know they're gonna get diluted in the future, but at a higher valuation. Like
that's
who
right.
cares
Yeah.
if we get diluted at 50? You guys are buying right now at like $1. Like,
Yeah.
and the point of that dilution at 50 is to get it to the next level of 500
Yeah.
or whatever.
Well, it's like Anthony
Yeah.
I mean,
said,
even
and
Palantir is not a trillion yet, and they're diluting.
yeah,
They're trying to get to multiple trillions.
yeah. And I would always just break it down simplistically. It's like, okay, do you want 50% of $1 or do you want 1% of $1,000? Right? Do you
Mhm.
want 50
Yeah.
you want 50 cents or do you want $10? Because that's literally what I just said. And to get to that $10, you got to dilute because you got to grow. You have to grow. It's a growth company.
And
So,
also, people forget you're a shareholder. That means you own the business. You're like a business owner.
mhm,
So, you know, you can't just like what if you're actually like the CEO, you or Anthony or whatever, you make decisions based on like, okay, we have expenses. We need to spend some of the money that we've got
mhm.
investments from. And that's just part of it, right? So people tend to like forget that. Like you have to operate and think like a business owner. You are a business owner and a shareholder. So, you know, you want to grow the business or you want to just not, I guess, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
is the true essence, the difference between are you an investor or are you a
a
trader?
trader. Yep. You're right.
There's so
And unfortunately, there's a lot of traders out there, but in,
people,
in
yeah. I
Hover's
mean,
case, in
I
Hover's
trade.
case, a lot less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, like
but you
in
know what?
Hover's
That's
case,
fine because people tend to start off as a trader, and then maybe they make some losses on the stock, and then they're like, "Shit, how can I recoup this?" And then they're
Hmm.
like, "Oh," then they learn about the company, then they become long term, right? I think when I started, I definitely traded hovers. I didn't sell. I just bought, thinking to trade it. My whole reason I even bought hover, archer, and joby in the first place was I don't believe flying cars are going to be real, but I believe people are going to be excited for them, and
Hmm.
that will grow just the attention, and that's why it first started. And then it became into like, oh wait, this is actually legit. It's not the flying cars we talked about and conceived, in the first things.
Yeah.
It's something else, and it's interesting to me now. And now look where we are. So, um,
I-
yeah.
I've heard Brandon say the words non-dilutive funding probably 73 times. And if you compare them to other companies, like
Hmm.
how much non-dilutive funding have, any companies we could compare their situation to, because they got the money coming from the FICI, collegiate area for the studies. They got the strategic partnerships of, not only is it a partnership for some component or aspect of the aircraft, but also these people are interested in the success of Hover, so they'll be working together intellectually and financially,
Hmm.
similar to, United Aircraft and Toyota and all these guys. But it appears to me that Hover has a lot more opportunities to get these non-dilutive fundings, and then on top of that, even these strategic partnerships that are
Hmm.
1,000% in the pipeline already. Like I'm definitely seeing a reality in the future where we do make our goals with the least amount of dilution as possible. I'm not a zero dilution, insane person, but I do believe it will be minimal. I do believe that the company and Canso and all the guys that got in and started this whole thing originally, I'm thinking that they want to continue to maintain value to their investment, is what I think from my
Hmm.
basic understanding of math. But what do you think? Do you think their avenues to non-dilutive funding are higher than the average company?
Well, it depends on one aspect you talk about, like a non-dilutive act that can be really beneficial is like you said, partnerships. Let's say, for example, I'm a composite manufacturer, a smaller composite manufacturer. It would be in my best interest to come to Hover and say, hey, I see your product. I see what you guys are going to be doing. I want to come on board with an exclusivity agreement that I'm going to go ahead and give you the first, the components for your original airplane. I'll go ahead and just develop that for you and provide it to you free of charge. But I want a manufacturing agreement for the next 300 that you're going to produce. So you see that a lot where companies will come on board. You see it really big on menu and on engine manufacturers when there's going to be a new type of airliner. An engine manufacturer will come up and say, "Yes, we will develop a specific engine for you at our cost, because we want to sell you thousands and thousands of engines." So that in itself would be like a good example of something that would be non-dilutive partnership that uh I mean it's very standard in the aerospace industry where you are not vertically integrated. There are almost no companies that are vertically integrated like Joby is um in the industry for that reason. It's takes a lot of time and energy and costs to certify flight ready components or structure or hardware. So those will be a lot of partnerships that you'll start seeing, that we'll probably start seeing here this next year, that they'll be announcing that, hey, we're teaming with potentially GKN to build our fuselage, or maybe some other manufacturer in Canada. GKN's a company here in America, but um all of those are non-dilutive activities that are huge, though, because it pretty much it drives your supply, it sets up your supply chain for success and you're pretty much getting it free of charge, or at a much less cost. And not only that, these companies have all of the know-how to do it, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel over and over and over again.
Yeah. Okay, so that's one
Makes
example. Like let's look at United or Toyota with their partnerships. Like, didn't they give them like $500 million, and they're gonna like help them build them with their machines or something? What's the deal with that?
They did, but and I think Toyota with Joby, they are giving them a lot of manufacturing expertise so that Joby will be able to scale at mass once they get certified. So, and same thing with Archer and Stellantis. Granted, you don't hear anything about Stellantis at this point with Archer. It's just like
Hmm.
it's just dead quiet. And when I went to their plant a couple months ago, like it's just, there's tumbleweeds, there's nothing going on. So
Hey,
they've spent the money,
Mitsubishi.
I
but
forgot about that partnership. You're right. What's
yeah,
up with that?
Mitsubishi makes
yeah.
cars, don't they? Mitsubishi makes cars, don't they?
And Mitsubishi also makes airplanes.
That's right, they do.
They
They
bought
do. That would.
Mitsubishi actually bought the CRJ from Bombardier. The Canada regional jet is now run by Mitsubishi Heavy Industries. So
Oh wow.
yeah, so that's, those could be potential partnerships. Like we could start, or yeah, like all it
Um,
takes, this is just it. Hover is such a great idea. It's such a great concept. I I would I would love to see, or I would expect to see other companies coming on board being like, that is such a great idea. We want to be a part of it. How can we help you?
Yeah.
question mark.
Mhm.
Since they're a public company, it's very obvious we're gonna know how much it's gonna cost for the aircraft. Let's say, I don't know, 4, 3, 5 million, whatever, and they're
Mhm.
planning to sell it at 10. So we'll know what their margins are. Is there a standard to margins, or every aircraft's different? And is it also standard that when people buy an aircraft, they know how much margin, I guess, they're paying? Like they know, this, I don't know, this private jet costs 2 million to build, but they're paying 10 million for it. And then they maybe negotiate prices a little bit, or is that not a thing in aviation?
In the private jet world, yeah, it's interesting. So margins, I think, for like small aircraft are really tight. Like the type of airplanes that I fly, like a Cessna, or you go and buy a Cirrus, the margins are probably a lot less, but they're also producing a lot more. But also, like Cessna is not a multi-billion-dollar company. It's not like they're like, yeah, we sold $1 billion worth of revenue and trainers this past year. Like that's been the problem with general aviation is all of these companies are just kind of limping along, or they go for a while and then they go bankrupt and then they pick up
That's
again
exactly
and
my point with my question. So
Mm.
why is that, and why do you think that Hover won't have that problem? Like
all
maybe
right.
what
So
if
in
Hover is going to be like a Cessna, and they will be all over the skies, but they can't be worth
yeah,
as
so
much as you're
but
saying?
but hover's not like hover's the next level up. Like you've got trainers and four seaters and like six seaters and stuff like that. Those margins are pretty tight. Any airplane's gonna be sold for probably $1 million to $2 million. Probably pretty tight margins. They're not making a whole lot of money on it, but they're keeping the doors open. Hover selling at 10 million. I bet you it's going to cost them, once they get everything streamlined, probably 5 million to make per airplane. So you're talking 50% or was that 100% margin?
Yeah,
So then what you would see too is, again, like when it gets into, they probably would not have discounts for individual purchases. But if the Canadian government came up, like say the Canadian Air Force showed up and said, "Hey, we want 100 of these," yeah, then there's going to be some pretty big negotiations and discounts and stuff because they're gonna pay money. They're gonna pay a large money up front too. Margins for yeah, I know margins for private jets are really good, but also they're not. I think Gulfstream and Bombardier sell 150 jets a year, right?
So
But they're
so
make
follow up to that. Their margins will be good. Let's say 50% margins they'll have,
Mhm.
and and we'll be sitting at, I don't know how many aircraft they'll sell. Honestly, it doesn't matter. But if they're making 50% margin, how does okay? My question is in aviation. What is like the multiplier usually, right? Like tech companies get, if they're making 1 billion in revenue, they usually get like a 10x multiplier or whatever.
Mhm.
Is the multiplier in aviation kind of very low or high or medium? Because something, let's say like shipping container companies. I'm investing in a stock called ZIM. The thing makes as much money as the market cap. It literally is like a $2 billion company, but it makes literally 2 billion a year. So their
Mhm.
PE is like one, because
Mhm.
the industry has no multiplier.
Mhm.
It's just standard across the entire industry. Any other shipping container company you look at, it's crazy. I've never seen something like that.
Mhm.
How is aviation in that aspect?
Oh man, that's a good question. I really don't know. I think historically it's not been a very good multiplier, simply because general aviation is really just been general aviation has struggled since the 1970s and 80s. At least general aviation. Now you get into, like, again, private jets like Gulfstreams and Bombardiers. There was a really slow period for a long period of time, and then in the 2000s it just took off. Like when Gulfstream came out with the 650, and then they announced their entire new line of aircraft, which they've been developing for the last 15 years. Like, people have been lining up for jets all over the place. But what has really been a catalyst for that has been there has been so much more wealth that has been grown in the world. So I think for things like Hover or Joby and Archer, it's a different paradigm based on how much use cases these are going to have, and how the market is going to look at them and say, all right, how can we use these in all of these different scenarios and situations? Um, I think
That's a
there
great
is,
answer. Yeah. And
yeah,
everyone will have more money by the time these things, I mean, the world's just getting richer and richer.
right. It's exactly right. So I think, and the X7 isn't, if Hover can be successful and get the X7 certified and get sales, and it's a great product, and they start seeing all these use cases, they will do other derivatives of that airplane as well. It's not like they're just going to do one. There will be other derivatives, and they'll announce new product lines, either bigger or smaller, and and then the market will grow into those use cases as well.
Awesome.
Wow.
Um,
But yeah, the actual multiple, it's hard to say. It's all a function of,
yeah,
again, we're
it's
going into this is a new dawn in aviation, with electrification and hybrid. And remember, like it's just getting started. Like Joby, and I think, again, having Hover right now at $1.50, holy crap, going into next year, because Joby is going to lead the way. People are downtown. Josh Brown just did like a 30-minute interview on Joby last week. I mean, he's like, he came straight out and is like, I'm much. He was like, yeah, Joby's gonna win the race. They're gonna get certified next year, and they're gonna start in the world, and they're gonna introduce this to the world. And as soon as the world starts seeing it, then they're gonna be like, oh, what's this next cool thing that's coming out? Oh, check this one. Oh, Hover, that thing is even looks even cooler. Like, and it's gonna just keep going and going and going. It's gonna there I think, yeah, Joby's gonna usher it in, and then it's like, holy shit, there's some great surf out here. Everyone get their boards.
love it.
I like that. You just
Yeah,
took me to
that's
the future. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Except the aspect of winning the race that makes me think all the other ones are losers. because there's only one winner
That
to a
that well,
race. But I don't think it's going to be like that.
it's
They'll
not. It's
just
not. Yeah.
Yeah, silver
yeah.
medal, bronze medal, honorable mention. Everybody crosses the finish line at some point.
Eighth
Yeah.
place
It's a
trophies.
marathon.
I mean,
Yeah,
go back to
participation.
go back to the early 80s when the only two computers were the Commodore 64 and the Apple II. Did anybody ever hear of Dell? No, no one ever heard of Dell, but look at what Dell did in the 90s. So, there's going to be all sorts of opportunity that's going to spring up from this.
Love that.
Yeah,
Great
yeah.
analogy.
So back to the
Looks like
non-dilutive income, right? Back to the
yeah,
non-dilutive income real quick. So they could get strategic partnerships where they get cut deals from guys, but those guys could also give them money though, because you said they'd be like,
They
yeah,
could.
we'll help you out for free, but they could also give them some money too.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then the government, right? How much money did the government give Archer and Joby in the beginning?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah,
It would be interesting to, yeah, if there could be like someone could do like a 30-minute, just like the chronological history from the financial aspect of like Joby, right? Like, all right, how did this company get to where it's at? How many times did it need funding rounds? How many times did it need to dilute? How many times did
that is
investors
interesting.
just how many times did investors just step in and give money? Like, honestly, we could probably do like a chat GPT and it would make it for you because all of that is public knowledge. Like anytime they get money, it's going to be on a as long as they were publicly traded. But
Honestly,
it
that
would
is
be,
interesting because you need a lot of money and to do this whole vertical integration stuff. How really did they do it all? Jobin is not,
yeah,
what he sold tripods. How much money did he make from that?
yeah, it wasn't
I mean,
tripods that got them to where they're at.
yeah. I really don't know how actually they got to where they're at. That is interesting. Maybe we could do a
Mhm.
video on that sometime. I've actually never done a proper Joby video. Maybe we should do some research and do that
It would be,
because they
yeah,
are the
again,
number
it'd be
one in the
sweet to go
space.
back and just, yeah, and like, again, how do companies raise capital to go and do this? Right? And obviously, like institutions come in, you get VCs that come in, right? A VC comes in and they typically are like, yeah, we want to fund this, we want to get it up and running, we want to get it public, and then we want to get the hell out.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, and they usually will
It,
get out before it's really up and running, just for the
yeah,
next
they do.
batch of investors. Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
yep,
Speaking of, let me
yeah.
get to the comments here real quick because we've
yeah.
kind of been
Yeah.
avoiding them, and it looks like no one's been commenting since been avoiding you
I
guys a
noticed
little bit.
that they were
Sorry.
like they're not even reading us. It's a bug. Yeah.
Yeah, no one's been commenting. I just like this one comment here. Wandering Will 96 says having Lilium employers is a wise choice for what to avoid. I couldn't agree
Very true.
more. I've seen people say that is like bad. Like why are they hiring, failed companies employees? Um,
Yeah.
but to the opposite perspective of that, no, that's good. They're learning from their mistakes. And
Hmm.
Lilium was one of the coolest, most promising aircrafts in the space. Like they made some
Yeah.
headway. And
Lilium could have done just
yeah.
a bit of transformation on their packaging, and that would have been still a very, very viable aircraft. So,
And the fact that the employers were going there, I mean, to me, that signals like, okay, Hover is like the next step to Lilium. Like
hmm
Hover is kind of very similar to Lilium, also in the design, I think.
hmm
I mean, didn't Andrea Michelin design Lilium? He did. Yeah, he came
he
from
did.
Lilium.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
thing looks just like it. I said it looks like a manta ray before I knew Lilium's design. Lilium's design is literally based on a manta ray. They use biomimicry to
Oh
design
yeah.
the Lilium aircraft. You know that?
I
I don't
didn't
know if
know.
I
No,
shared.
I
I
just know
didn't
that
share that
you're
in the
really
video.
into biomimicry.
I am, but
You love it.
when I found that out, I'm like,
Let's go.
what? Brandon didn't admit. He said they had no inspiration from the manta ray, but Brandon doesn't even know that they did because Lilium's aircraft was designed based on the manta ray. Like they have a whole article on this. Like this is they literally did that. And and Hover's aircraft
But
looks just like it. And when I mentioned it, I'm like, it looks just like it. It looks like a manta ray. He said no. But then they got the same designer, so they definitely got manta ray inspiration, and Brandon doesn't even know it.
No, I
well, true. But they
I'm
came
so
after
passionate about
because the
biomimicry. I don't
Cav
know why.
X7, the Cav X7 was designed before they got any of the Lilium guys. But
yeah.
to sort all that out, Brandon, he did tell us about the bumblebees and the birds, and that nature favors certain patterns and mathematics and stuff like that. So that aspect is built into it for sure. He is tracking with, you know,
Yeah.
those aspects. So it,
Yeah.
it gives
That
credence to
that
these
is
things.
why I'm very interested in biomimicry actually, because nature is
Yeah.
perfect, right? Kind of. And 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 when I see these things, I'm like, this is just a green flag to me. Like their design is I mean, it's not just as simple as saying inspired by nature. It's specifically the manta ray. And then when you look up what the manta ray does, I mean, it's one of the most aerodynamic creatures, and it travels literally 500 miles, like that's like the aircraft, and it flies in the air. Most fish don't fly. Obviously not forever, just jumps kind of.
Mhm.
But it's all these little similarities that maybe they sound silly, but to me they're little red green flags because it's like, okay, you know, it isn't random that the thing can fly and travels long distance. It's for a good reason. And to copy the same design, I mean, I've seen it happen in other things, and it's just really cool, right? Like, I mean, you have the bullet train, right? That's inspired by the pelican, right? And so many other things. Mycelium is freaking amazing. That inspires like how mapping to like cities the most optimal way. And you have all these things that like people use for biomimicry, and it just makes sense, right? It's just like 1 + 1 = 2. We can all agree. So when you show me a design that's nature inspired and the nature of it tells you why it works, I'm like, fuck yes, that's what I want. Like
I
that
agree.
just makes
I don't know,
I
sense.
man.
agree. I agree with you. And all right. So in some respects, like you look at the manta ray. How did the manta ray get to that point? It evolved, right? It evolved because of its environment. I think if you take the Horizons airframe, like their leading edge or their forward swept wing, a canard, that is taking 100 years of aerospace design, which again is a form of evolution. You're seeing, it's a form of
Yeah,
use case. Now, to go against that, you look at the freaking Archer's airplane and all these other airplanes that are pretty much trying to take an airplane and make it go vertical is with these booms and hanging booms off the wing. I almost equate that to the same as like the first cars look like stagecoaches, right? Like you got to
Yeah.
think outside of the box and you evolve, and that is what I think Joby and Hover have done, where Archer has not done.
Yeah. Yeah, for a minute there, you was talking about that biomimicry, Tim. I thought we was gonna get an analogy out of you or something like that. I thought we was gonna get an analogy. You see,
No, I
you know,
agree with
you
you though. In a lot of ways, you can look at nature and say, all right, where is this? You know, where in nature is this most? You know, like it could be right in front of you. For example, like look
yeah.
at the leaf that fall or the seed that falls out of a tree and spins, right? Maybe that shape would be an ideal propeller shape for a ducted fan or something, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, totally.
but physics is physics. So the best thing we can do as mere mortals is do like
see,
Matan is doing, have be inquisitive and ask
Yeah.
questions and challenge the status quo is the biggest thing, is to
I
challenge the
think like
status quo.
Brandon says, it just makes sense. And to me,
Hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know, I
It
just
does.
need it to make sense, right? And
Yeah.
like what you just said, right, with the leaf falling, that's interesting. However, I still wouldn't think that's an optimal reason, right? Because, like, what exactly is the reason for a leaf to evolve to a certain shape to fall the fastest on the ground? Like, what is the reason it needs to fall the fastest, right? It could fall slow.
No, it
So,
actually doesn't want to fall fast because it doesn't want to break. That's why it spins. That's why it's
oh,
a seed.
so it's
The seeds. That's why the seed spins around its center of mass.
Yeah.
oh, so its goal
Yeah, it's
is
got
to
to deliver the
not
seed.
fall.
Yeah, its deliver is to not fall fast because then it would break if it hit the ground.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that
It's like a
makes more
stork.
sense.
Deliver the
So
seed.
it probably evolved to what? Spin at the best, the most aerodynamic way to be
Potentially, yeah,
slow, kind of.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, look at fruit. The whole purpose of fruit is to all of the stuff that we eat rots, and then that's what the seed lives off of when it falls off the tree.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Did you see that one thing they were talking about their Fiki certification, and then they put that snowflake right next to the horizon symbol? Did you see that?
Oh,
The
did they?
geometric.
That's cool. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah. It had snowflake, and then it had the horizon symbol right next to it, and
I
it
like
was
You know
it.
like
what?
they
The
were talking about their
horizon
Fiki
symbol,
certification.
the logo looks like a snowflake,
That's what
you
I'm
know?
saying. They had it side by side. It was like I was like, okay, there we go.
That's cool. It looks like a snowflake and it looks like a fan. I like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Anyways,
yeah.
we're almost getting to 2 hours here, boys. We should probably
Yeah,
wrap
sorry
up.
I jumped in so late, guys.
No, it's
I did have
fine.
one question. Mark, since you know a lot about this stuff, is Mitsubishi? Because I know Mitsubishi, they're obviously over in Asia, but obviously they got their Canadian stuff too. Is Mitsubishi and Bombardier, are they pretty like? Obviously they're not identical, but as far as their like basic fundamental categories, are they basically really similar? Just one's mainly in Canada, the other one's Canada and over in Asia, or does Mitsubishi stand out more particularly for a specific thing, and then Bombardier for more of a specific thing? Because I've been wondering if them partnering with both of them possibility, obviously to service that part of the planet and this part of the planet, or is it like one of them would be good for like this thing and the other would be good for that thing? Do you think there's any difference, or is it kind of like a blanket concept?
Yeah, so Mitsubishi Bombardier obviously started out, and because I've heard you talk about it, they started out making snowmobiles. They,
Yeah.
I mean, the Mits the Bombardier family, or I think it's the Boudian. I can't even. I'm not even going to try to pronounce their name, but the family of Bombardier. Um, they started out with snowmobiles. They're industrialists. So they started out with snowmobiles, they got into trains, and then they got into aerospace. And their aerospace is like, and they kept like pushing the envelope. Bombardier developed the C series. They developed the CRJ, the Canadian regional jet. That's what the CRJ is. Um, they even produced Bombardier even produced the um the firefighting tankers that will go and land on the water and suck up a bunch of water, and then they take off again and they'll go and dump it.
Mm-hmm.
My brother-in-law is a firefighter. He for a helicopter pilot that's a firefighter, and so we were talking about that. Like that thing will pick up like 1,000 gallons of water in just a couple of seconds, and then go and dump it again.
Whoa.
But that was all designed by Bombardier throughout the last 50 years, and Bombardier, through a whole myriad of reasons, has sold off all of those divisions to clean up their balance sheet, and now they just sell private jets. So they sold CRJ to Mitsubishi, and all of that to Mitsubishi. And so Mitsubishi's presence in Canada is just because they own now that line of the CRJ
Mm.
jets. I think Mitsubishi is trying to develop their own regional jet, but I don't know how far along they are with it. So they are two very different companies. Obviously, Mitsubishi has very deep pockets because they sell a lot of cars. Um, but partnership with either of them would be enormous. Like if HOVR got a partnership with any well established company, I think Bombardier would be better. Bombardier would be ideal because Bombardier knows how to certify and is a very good aerospace certification company. And so if they could team with Bombardier, that would be enormous. They would that would help them in so many different ways. Now, internationally, yeah, like if you wanted to build another line in Japan, I mean, Japan's really, you know, nip it at the bud right now. To that's the wrong phrase or the wrong analogy, but or
Biting at the bit.
biting at the bit. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. um, they are really trying to get into this new form of vertical mobility. So yeah, you could see I could see them teaming up as well and saying, yeah, we want to be, open a plant here. We want to, be part of your technology and whatnot. Um, that would be huge as well. So we'll see. But they are two very different companies.
Yeah,
I, would- I
I
would
was
I
looking
would
at
I would draw any parallels.
yeah, I was checking out Bombardier, and I was like looking at their snowmobiles and their the
Mhm.
Sea-Doo, the jet
Yeah,
ski, and
jet
their
skis.
airplanes. Yeah, and then like all the stuff they've been doing, and it's like it's really interesting because like they kind of like have like really nice, like excellent ideas, not totally niche, but like but they're like good though. You know what I mean? And I was kind of just looking at their
Mhm.
lineup because you're right. They sold the Sea-Doo and all the recreational stuff to Bombardier. I think recreational or whatever that side
They
thing,
sold all that
different
off.
company now. Yeah, but like if you kind of look at their catalog, like if Bombardier had a Christmas catalog, and you kind of looked at all the stuff they had through the
Yeah,
years, their 1950 snowmobiles and everything. And then if you like just imagine like the Cavrite X7 in there, it's like it'd be perfect. Like it's crazy. Like
it would
like
be
it's like
sweet.
the next step up. It would be
It would be
crazy.
sweet.
Yes.
So the cool thing about, and this is what I respect about Bombardier, it's 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 a double-edged sword, or at least it was when I was heavily investing in Bombardier. Bombardier made me an investor because I bought into a bunch of it and then the stock tanked and I had to sit on it for years until it finally came back. But in that time, I learned so much about just their culture. And the culture is their the way their stocks are set up. The company or the family always has the majority voting rights of what happens. And they do that so that the Chinese can't come and just buy them out. Like they're like, we're a Canadian family, we're a Canadian company, and we will always be a Canadian company. So in that respect, like I really respect them for just really being like, yeah, we're the industrialists of Canada. And it's a it's a great story. So, and it would make it an even a greater story if Brandon got a partnership with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Canadian defense, Canadian success story.
that's right, North America. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's all get on the same team here. Damn it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So
Love it.
so
All right.
all right, boys.
Anything else,
Any other
boys? Let's
any other
wrap it.
comments? Any other comments, real quick? Or are we done?
No, I think we're done.
No
Yeah,
one's
that's it.
listening to us.
No, we got some people
Yeah.
listening, but no one's commenting. I don't know. I guess we're
All
not
right.
reading them,
Maybe they're
so
maybe they're multitasking. Maybe they're flying while they're listening. You see.
Yeah. Or they're watching football or
Hands
eating
free.
turkey.
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Fun. Fun, boys. We'll do this again. And
Okay.
yeah, as
Thanks
always.
for the hat, Brandon. I really appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? We rocking it, Brandon.
Hell yeah. Mark, we gotta get you one actually. We gotta
Yeah.
all have one on these
In due
streams.
time.
Yeah, at
I'm
some
not.
point.
I'm not. I don't have to carry the flag to be a fan. So
Uh,
I'll buy some merch when we go up and visit them someday.
True.
yeah. I'm gonna get
Yeah,
a
that'd be
HOVR
awesome.
tattoo on my neck. Yeah.
Rezo actually said he's just researching everything while listening to us. So pretty cool.
Good
I
stuff.
guess he doesn't need to comment. Well, all right.
All
Thank
right.
you all.
Enjoy your cruise, dude.
Yeah, thanks.
All right.
And till next time, as always. You wanna do it with me? Mark never wants to.
Mark already did. He was kind of leading up to. He was like, "In life, you got to question everything,"
I was
you
like,
know. It's like, you know, I was like, oh, he kind of leading up to it. I thought Mark was gonna just be
That's
like, peace
I'll
out.
just give you the piece.
okay. Well, until next time, stay thinking, question everything. Peace out.
Peace out, y'all.